Break, any station, come in.
Yung breaker po, go ahead. 11, call sign, sir.
Thank you, sir. This is 4H1 EMQ po. This is EMQ from Amadeo Station, over.
Roger that, acknowledge. This is Alpha Lima, Cavite Station on the mobile.
Thank you, sir. Sir, can you give me update lang sa location mo, weather, and working condition mo?
Roger that, acknowledge. So now, ako po ay on mobile, stationary mobile here in Cavite City Public Market. And then, sa ngayon, sobrang init po ng ating weather condition ngayon dito. Napakataas ng humidity level. And working condition ko po is Motorola GM300 with power output of 45 watts. And then, super gainer antenna. Over.
Ayun, pasensya na po. Medyo nagkaroon ng konting technical difficulties. Ayan. Pero yun po, yung napag-usapan po natin last week ay merong before, during, at saka after. So, ano po ba yung mga gagawin natin ipe-prepare natin during ng disaster? At ano-ano bang mga disaster yung pag-uusapan natin? Or ano-ano bang disaster yung meron tayo dito sa Pilipinas? O in particular, dito po sa Tagaytay, ano ba yung meron ditong mga disaster? So later on, pag-uusapan po natin yan. Pero for now, pag-usapan po muna natin kung ano po ba yung matututunan natin tungkol kay Sir James W3ZQC. Check lang po natin kung okay na yung kanyang audio. So tingnan natin po, ang pag-uusapan natin actually sa kanya ay tungkol sa mga antennas. So he will going to continue to talk about the antennas. So without further ado, let's welcome po yung ating in-house trainer, si Sir CQC. Sir CQC, please come in.
Hey, can you hear me there?
Yes, loud
I was
and
having a
clear.
little technical difficulty here, but I
Yes,
guess
same here. Yeah.
things worked out. All right, so
How are you, my brother?
I'm doing fine, doing okay. We're just
Awesome.
kind of holding up here, and looks like fortunately last week's storm was uneventful for most,
Yeah.
and so we're kind of went through. I know some suffered some damage, but I think you're going to touch on that today a little bit as
Yes.
regards our emergency preparedness, and so we look forward to that as well. We're excited, no doubt. And regarding our antennas here, just bear with me, and let's see if I can pull up something. What I'm going to just touch on a little bit now. Last week I had showed you guys my 40 meter band 7 megahertz and the 14 megahertz band and antenna, and also what I want to do though is just touch on a little bit of, and I saw something grab your attention, the transmission line going to that. So next week we promise we're getting into a little bit of formulas in the length of the antenna, but we just want to discuss feeding the antenna. Now, typically in your transmission line, you have 50 feet of uh, coax antenna there. Normally, I'm so used to feet in the U.S. as well, and normally we are looking at what 15 meters plus here, and I think is the formula is 3.28 or 3.29 gives you about 49.2. So typically 15 meters plus for your transmission line when you're having the base station. What happens is that once it goes to your vertical, what you want to do is there's a tendency for a number of reasons, without getting too complicated, for the transmission line to radiate. And what ultimately the goal is for you to have your the antenna only to radiate energy. But sometimes what happens is the transmission line is radiating. And so in order to prevent that, there's something called a RF choke, per se. Some persons mispronounce, refer as a balun, BALUN, balance, unbalance, and that has to do with the currents flowing to and from the antenna as well. But actually, that is inaccurate. Really, what you want is to be able to per se choke off these stray currents off the transmission line, which raises your reflected power. And so while you can buy these here, from a few hundred to a few thousand pesos, you can make your own. So if I can pull up a picture here of a configuration that I have in just one moment, and hopefully this will work here. And I haven't really having much success on share screen, but maybe things will open up here a little bit. So what we're going to do is, I guess we'll share entire screen, and maybe you guys can see. Are you able to see that? I need some feedback here.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Anyone?
Yes.
You can see that?
Yep.
Now, what you're looking at there is, of course, my transmission line coming from my equipment here, that whatever you're using, and HF, and this here in the ham radio, I'll say, industry is referred to as an ugly balun, nickname BALUN. But again, that's not exactly accurate. What it actually is what we call a RF, or radio frequency choke. So this is basically a number of turns of coaxial cable around the core. It could be air. In this case, I found an old water pipe and cut it, and just wrapping a couple of turns around the coax there either greatly reduces or eliminates the stray currents or coming off of the coax, and reduces feed line radiation, also known as common mode current as well. So as you see, I'm going in here. I did something with 2 PL connectors. Some persons tend to make it continuous all the way around and then go right to the antenna. But I have a PL SL239 connector in, and another connector out, and then just a short stub here going right to the antenna. Now, and again, this will generally prevent. This is a very cheap way of making sure that your antenna radiates versus your transmission line. And this, again, this will reduce reflected power. And I've experienced that on the 7 megahertz band, and depending on how you feed your antenna. What you're looking at here down at the bottom is, so when you go to your coax here, of course, the antenna, but as far as the ground is concerned, and this is just not the best setup because, you know, the fancy guys here, they have a big metal plate right here at the bottom. You picture a big square metal plate, and then you have wires going out. But as you see, I have even, you know, I guess some speaker wires. Usually number 14 is ideal, and they're buried in the ground, and they go out in all different directions, about maybe 2 or 3 inches in the ground. You bury these wires, and this is your RF ground per se here, and this will help your antenna work efficiently. Usually, now this is cut for 14 megahertz. I also have a 10 meter band or 28 megahertz stub here, feeder, and so that's what you're looking at right now. And I'm just trying to see if I can open up something else here, and again, maybe a look at the ground radials if this open up. And again, here's a closer look again. And also for multi-band antennas, this is a trick. Now, why this is a single band antenna, you can have a wire that comes off of the base of the antenna, and this wire here for the 10 meter band, of course, a quarter wavelength of that would be 2.5 meters. So I have actually 2.5 meter length of wire running parallel up. You see the spacer right here. So I can operate the 10 meter band here, and you have a closer look at the ground. So this is what you would have as far as a very basic antenna for any given band. And I'm trying to open up, and maybe that's it right here. Again, as you see, the antenna in the yard is right there. Again, that is about 5 meters in width, 17 feet approximately is what you got when you look at this here. And you can barely see the little stub right here, but there's a wire that runs along the length of this antenna, and that is for the 29 megahertz band. You can actually, that's another way to have multi-band antenna, is to have a spacer and antenna. It's another way is a coil to be able. So it's a number of tricks you can do to operate on multiple bands. Of course, you can use an antenna tuner if the SWR is hard, but for maximum efficiency, you would cut the length of the given wire with some formulas for that particular band. And of course, that works very well. So that's kind of an overview there of what you can do. Now, with that too, the same thing here for the 20 meter band or 40 meter band or 7 megahertz. And again, I think I touched on this earlier. You have something that's helically wound, looks like on a 4-inch core. And then actually, if I don't know if I can zoom in, I know with the zoom yard, this is also round right here. And then you have the painter's pole. And then at the very top, Also, you have just at the very top, you have a whip here that's round as well. So this is about 25 feet physically, but electrically 33 feet. And what you have there is a quarter wave antenna. So actually, for the 40-meter band, which is actually 41 meter, um, uh, the quarter wave of that, we're looking at actually maybe 10 meters here is a 1/4 wave. And again, we're getting the formulas perhaps next week, but usually for any given band, you make an antenna for a quarter wave, a half wave, uh, 3/4 waves, or odd eighths, 1/8, 3/8, 5/8 antenna is popular. It seems to offer the best gain, and that's it. So I guess we're stop sharing here, and I don't know if you guys can see me.
Yes.
Okay, am I back on? Because I can't see myself. So,
Oh, yeah, we can see you.
So there we go. So that's it. So that's the gist of the overview, and I wanted to touch more on formulas and how you get to the meters and so forth. But what it has to do with is, is a formula for the speed of light divided by the more or less the frequency gives you the how many meters per se, and a quarter of that. But it's specific formulas. Of course, there's plenty of antenna calculators all over the internet, but there's specific formulas that you can use as well to calculate the antenna you need in feet as well as meters, whatever works for you for any given situation. So hopefully that's work, and so that's pretty standard. So you see a few amateurs just do that. Just take a couple rounds of coax. Now you always have someone in the amateur radio field that wants to discredit what someone else comes. It was always a naysayer to say, well, that doesn't work. But generally, for many amateur radio operators, that's an easy way to choke off stray currents off of the transmission line, just a few rounds, because the controversy is it works on certain frequencies and not on others. That might, that's true to a certain extent, but I found that it worked well for me after some tests. Interesting that it, actually lowered the SWR. Now, after further, tests, you discover you can tell the difference even with RF interference, radio frequency interference. We refer to as RFI. When you use the choke outside, your speakers also, your computer speakers also talk to you as well. But if your feed line is radiating, sometimes you get it in other equipment. They let you know that you have some radiation coming in as well. That's kind of an indicator of what's going on. So there's different methods that amateur radio operators use for choking off around the ferrite core per se. They use coax. So it's a number of things you can use to reduce currents, and that's it. That's my little bit of overview. So hopefully that's not too much, and at least here you guys can start with a nosebleed instead of in with one. So
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So yes, thank you very much, Sir James ZQC. That is a wonderful presentation that you have here. I hope a lot of our viewers will going to try. Just like you did. You never know unless you try. That's the logo of Try PH Media. So you did try it, and it works for you. And we hope that our Tri Nation would also try it. so that they know how to calculate, this coax and everything, So later on, I will also try to do that. I will set up some of the VHF base that I have here because I have limited budget.
I'm sorry. Actually, I failed to mention that. Those big things there is for HF. Now VHF, usually you have guys do it, but it's a little smaller core.
Yes, inside those. Yep.
That was pretty big right there. That's almost 4 inches right there of a core. And again, some guys just they know how to wrap it and without the core and air, just having the open air and hanging. But you'll see a lot of that all over the internet if you type in, and it's referred to as ugly ballant, BALE.
Ugly ballant.
Yeah, that's what they call it. But that's a little trick of the trade, more or less. So you can try on VHF, but VHF is a little different with a couple taps. So go ahead. I just
smaller,
smaller. Usually you see a smaller for that.
Okay, yes. So thank you very much again, Sir CQC, for that wonderful presentation. And again, hope you try Nation. Pwede naman po kayong mag-try in Tagalog, Sir CQC is natural born American, in our province in the US, So Sir CQC, you want to say thank you, or you want to greet someone?
I got to go kind of slip out a little bit early. I'll be listening, but again, I just want to thank the team, everyone, again, for their input, participation, and support, and so forth. And we appreciate your hosting and moderating and so forth. So that's it.
Okay. So again, it's thank you very much, Sir CQC, and we hope to see you again next week. And watch out for Nation. So again, thank you, Sir CQC.
Okay. All right then. Okay.
Okay. So yan po si Sir ZQC at maraming salamat po again, Nation. Hopefully hindi po kayo nag-nosebleed, dahil ako, hindi naman ako nag-nosebleed, because it's kind of like very natural, Joke lang po, Yan. Pero marami po tayong natutunan, lalo na dun sa mga paikot-ikot. Ayan, dun sa mga medyo nosebleed na kamukha ko. Ayan. So, mga paikot-ikot niyang gano'n. HF po yung kanyang masterpiece o yung kanyang forte, sabi nga. Ayan. So, tayo po, BHF lang tayo. Medyo, yun nga, hindi tayo katinding ganun malalayo yung inaabot. Actually, pag HF kasi, mas malayo yung inaabot. Yan, usually nakakarating yan dun sa probinsya namin sa Amerika, sa California. Nakakarating po yung HF. Ayan, very high frequency yung HF nila. Ayan. So, yan po. At ito naman po yung isang rumaragasa. Ayan, may kinalaman naman po dun sa ating power supply. Ayan, so atin na pong tawagin yung ating gandang lalaki ng try to contact, si Sir RDY. Sir RDY, please come in.
Yes, sir. Magandang hapon muli. Last time, nawala ako.
Okay lang.
Nawala ako last time. Humina yung connection. So, dito ulit tayo. Mag-share tayo ng ilang information.
Yun. So, kamusta na ba dyan sa iyong 2-0, Sir RDY?
As of now, makulimlim pa rin. Medyo on and off pa rin ang ulan. At the same time, paminsan-minsan humahangin, pero moderate lang. Kaya, ditong nakalaan na sama ng panahon, grabe talaga, malakas.
Yun nga. Tatanungin ko sana kung ano ba yung nangyari sa inyo nung huling bagyo dan? Bagyo?
Oo. Noong disaster talagang balis nga kami dito sa station namin. Sa station ko dito kasi maraming puno ako sa taas. For safety reason, lumipat kami doon sa loob na mas may malalaki yung structure para ma-ensure ko din yung safety ng pamilya ko.
Yun.
Pero pagkalipas noon, kinabukasan, maayos na naman ang lahat. Wala namang naging problema sa mga antennas, sa mga connection. Okay lang naman sila. Kaya napakahalaga na ready rin tayo.
Yun, mabuti naman at ganyan na nangyari, no? Talagang safe na safe kayo. Ngayon, Sir RDY, punta tayo dun sa ating topic, ano, tungkol sa power supply. Bigyan mo naman kami ng overview. Ano ba yung mga dapat o pwede naming i-try may kinalaman dyan sa power supply, ano? Especially ngayon na medyo dumadalas na yung mga malalakas na mga bagyo, ano mo naman, yung disaster. Yan. Take it away, Sir RDY.
Yun, oo, talaga napakahalaga ng power supply. Kasi in disaster, nangyayari, kalimitan, papatay nila yung main power supply, yung AC, yung kuryente, linya ng kuryente. Kapag nawala yon, kung gumagamit tayo ng AC power supply, mamatay din yan. Kaya sa ngayon, napakahalaga na meron tayong external o extra power supply. At yun ang gusto natin na i-discuss this time sa mga kasama natin. Bueno, katulad ng nangyari sa Camarines, wala na halos communication doon, bumigay na. Talagang even yung mga local network, hinahanapan sila ng kumpanya na kailangan sila mag-provide ng kanilang telecommunication. Ngayon, dahilan sa nawala ng power supply, kaya anong nangyari rin ay hindi rin sila makapagbigay. Kaya dito, papasok ang ating segment ngayon. Kung paano napakahalaga ng ating didiscuss ngayon, power supply.
Yun.
Ito yung power supply na usual, na power supply na ginagamit. Ito yung regulated, DC regulated power supply. Ini-include dyan yung volts, and then the other one is the amperes, and then the other one, kung makikita nyo, ampere yan, pag battery charger. So, this power supply, Zebra made, is 50 amperes ang kanyang capacity. Na yan naman, nakakonekta yan sa HF, sa Hotel Fax. Tapos, yan ay ikinokonekta ko rin, kung nakita niyo yung linya na kulay puti, nakakonekta rin yan sa battery. Na just in case mag-blackout, yan ay gagana siya. Tapos, kapag siya naman ay may kuryente, katulad ngayon, nagcha-charge naman siya. Para kung magkaroon ng incident, katulad ngayon, dumarating ang mga incident ng typhoon, disaster, hindi ka mauubusan ng power supply. Kung magwala man ang 220 volts, may spare ka pa na voltahe galing sa baterya. At sometimes yung iba nga gumagamit sila ng solar panel. Katulad nung isa na nakausap namin sa parte ng Quezon, sa kanila sa ngayon blackout. So gumagamit sila ng solar panel para sa kanila power supply ng radyo, para sa ganon ay continuous yung kanilang pagmo-monitor do sa mga kasamahan, at the same time yung kanila security mahawakan din nila, ma-ensure din nila habang panahong ito ng kalamidad. By the way, yung ating supply hindi lang sa HF nakakabit, kinakabit din natin yan sometimes sa mga VHF. Para sa ganon, ang 2 meter band is capable rin na makakita tayo ng mga makarinig na communication ng 2 meter band. So, maraming factor para ma-maintain yung kaayusan ng power supply natin. Isang bagay, yung mine-maintain natin yung ating charging ng battery. Kasi kapag hindi siya na maintain ng pag-charge ng properly, maaaring ma-overcharge or ma-dehydrate naman siya kung sobrang empty. Kasi itong battery ko dito, ito ay deep cycle battery. Na kung saan yung deep cycle battery ay kaya niyang i-discharge hanggang 0 volt na kaya niyang ilabas. So, kailangan matagal lang itong kargahan pero matagal din siya mag-store ng energy. Gel type ito. Kasi yung power supply natin, gumagamit siya ng 220 volts, output niya 13.8 volts. Kaya maraming power supply, pwede nating isaalang-alang, pero depende sa ating pangangailangan. Kung halimbawa, ang power supply natin, ang pangangailangan natin ay yung mga ordinary, yung mga VHF, nagko-consume lang sila ng mga 7 to 10 amperes, okay na yung mga 15 amperes na power supply. Pero doon sa mga HF na malaki, nagko-consume ito ng mga 25 hanggang 30 amperes kapag ka magta-transmit siya ng mga 150 watts. So, kailangan mas higher yung ampere na kaya niyang i-produce para hindi mabitin yung ating audio signal. Hindi siya mag-garble ang term nila. Para bang nagro-rolling yung sound, hindi mo maintindihan. Kaya, ang paggawa natin ng power supply, pagkakabit natin ng power supply, ay ating ibabagay din sa pangangailangan na ating konsumuhin. Kaya sa panahong ito na mayroong mga disaster, napakahalaga po ng power supply. Kahit sa everyday life lang po natin, ang power supply ay napakahalaga. So, power supply. Sir, BB1.
Yun, medyo naputol lang ng konti yung dulo, Sir RDY, pero naintindihan po namin at thank you very much po, Sir RDY, sa iyong napakagaling na power supply insight na naman. Ano, ayan. So, pinakita mo sa amin yung ano ba dapat yung dapat ano, ayan. Joke lang po. So, yung ano yung gagawin natin, di ba? Para yung battery natin kailangan, syempre, naka-charge, ano? Nabanggit mo kanina yung tungkol sa battery. Yung deep cycle pala ang maganda, no? Ibig sabihin niya ay pag deep. So, yung pinaka 0 volt niya, ilalabas niya, ano? Hindi ka mukha ng mga ordinary na mga battery ay humihina ba? Tawag ba doon? Humihina?
Tama,
Yun.
sir. Kapag ka, hihina na siya. Hindi siya makakapaglabas ng voltahe. While this one, deep cycle battery, kaya niyang ilabas hanggang sa dulo ng laman niya.
Yun.
Kaya
So,
hindi siya ma-dehydrate.
Pero yung mga deep cycle, medyo may kamahalan naman ng konti, ano? Magkano ba yung mga deep cycle battery mga ganyan?
Medyo mahal, sir, ng konti ito. Katulad nitong ganitong klase na deep cycle battery kasi ito yung ginagamit sa mga solar. Katulad po itong battery kung ginagamit dito, ito ay nasa 100 Ah, So, mas malakas po ito ng bahagya. Medyo matagal siyang i-charge, pero matagal din naman siya ma-drain. Kaya yun po ang capacity nito.
Okay. So ano yan? Mga 10 times ganun o 5 times dun sa ordinary battery?
Oo, mga 5 more times sa regular battery.
So kung halimbawa yung battery ay 5,000, ano? So mga 50 ba ganun? 10 times?
Yes, sir. Oo.
Yun pala, no? Mahal pala talaga.
May kamahalan lang to. May kamahalan lang to. Kasi nga po, hindi ito ordinary yung mabibili mo sa bagaman may local manufacturer na gumawa sila, pero hindi nila ma-build yung battery talaga na inilalagay para sa mga deep cycle battery. Nakakagawa naman sila, pero hindi nila ma-build yung mga sealed type na 100% accuracy na katulad ng mga focus lang talaga sila sa deep cycle battery.
Yun nga, ano. Yun. So, maraming salamat, Sir RDY, ha. Talaga namang magagamit natin yan during ng disaster. At yun nga, alam mo naman ng Pilipinas ay pagka bumabagyo, nawawala ng kuryente. Ano, wala kasi tayo ditong mga, yun nga, yung solar kasi, kung may solar ka, at least pag walang kuryente, gagana yung solar mo at saka generator. Ano. Ayan, alam mo naman ng mga tayo medyo wala tayong solar pero may generator kami. So, Sir RDY, meron ka bang gustong batiin o pasalamatan?
Ayun, dito sa amin sa ngayon, nandito yung aming mga kaibigan, sina Kuya Tirso, Biko, at si Ate Gina. Yung pamilya ko, dito pa rin kami. Yung pamilya na walang sawang tumutulong sa amin, Pamilya Mercado, at sa Recalde family, at doon sa ibang mga kasama namin dito sa lugar. Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat, at sa mga iba po na gusto nyo na maayos yung inyong power supply, why don't you try? Kontakin nyo lang po kami at si Sir BB1 para ma-assist po kayo kung paano sa inyong bahay matulungan kayo sa power supply.
Yun. So thank you very much po, Sir Randy. Ayan. Nakalimutan ko yung joke ni Sir James. Sabi ni Sir James, kailangan daw English eh. Ayan. Pero nasabi mo na in Tagalog. Kaya again, Sir RDY, thank you so much sa iyong insight na naman sa power supply. Ayan. So next week, gawa ulit tayo ng mga bagong segment. Ayan. So again, thank you very much, Sir RDY.
Okay, thank you.
Ayan, so ayan na naman po ang isang segment po ni Sir RDY tungkol sa power supply. Ayan, hopefully meron po kayong natutunan dun sa deep cycle. Alam natin na yung ordinary cycle o battery ay iba dun sa deep cycle. Ayan, pwede nyo i-google para mas maintindihan nating mabuti. Ayan, so dumako po tayo dun sa ating segment. Medyo brief lang po ito ng konti. Ito pong ating pinagkuhanan ay mababasa po ninyo dun sa jw.org. Tapos punta po kayo dun sa magazine at yung Awake 2017. Ayan. At ang ano po nito ay number 5. Ayan, number 5, 2017. When disaster strikes, steps that can save lives. Ayan. Ano bang mga paraan yung ating pwedeng gawin bago, during, at pagkatapos. So before, syempre kailangan po nating mag-prepare. Ayan, ano po ba yung i-prepare natin? So syempre, sabi po doon ay prepare mentally. Ayan, kailangan po nating isaisip na ang disaster ay mangyayari one way or the other. Sa iba man o sa atin man. At lahat tayo ay may potential na magkaroon o ma-in danger, sabi nga At it is too late to prepare after disaster strike. Ayan. So, kailangan pong yung mental capacity natin ay sakto. Ayan. Sabi nga. So, learn about disaster. Ano-ano bang mga disaster yung pwedeng mangyari? Dito po sa Pilipinas, marami tayong bulkan. So, during my timeline, dalawang pagsabog na po ng bulkan yung na-encounter ko. Yung sa ito, yung recently yung Taal at saka yung dati dun sa Pinatubo. Ayan, so yung dalawa na yun. And then, of course, marami rin pong mga sunog, dyan sa ating mga kapitbahay. Ayan, so dun po sa amin sa Makati, yung kabilang bahay lang po ay nasunog, kaya montik nang masunog yung bahay namin. Ayan, and then, syempre, yung bagyo. Ayan, recently, meron namang mga bagyo. Alam niyo naman ang Pilipinas, talagang tayo ay bayuhin ng mga bagyo, Ayan. Tapos, prepare emergency supply. Ayan. Power, water, phone, and transportation service. Ayan. If you own a car, try to keep the fuel tank at least half full. And always have food, water, and emergency kit in your home. Ayan. So, mamaya pag-usapan natin yan kung ano-ano yung pwede natin gawin. Pero sabi po doon ay emergency supplies. Ayan. Tapos, sabi doon na have access to the phone numbers. Ayan, so dapat may mga phone numbers din tayo ng mga emergency. Kamukha ng police, ng hospital, ayan, nung ating barangay, ayan, at yung mga emergency number, And then, dahil sa try to contact po yung ating pinag-uusapan, alam niyo po ba na isa sa mga napakagandang gamitin ay yung radyo, Nung nakaraang episode po natin, kung napansin po ninyo, doon sa, ano na nga yung bagyo doon sa, na tumama na matindi, yung Yolanda. Ayun po, Bumagsak po lahat ng communication doon. At alam niyo po ba na yung ating BHF, HF, UHF radio ang ginagamit noon. Ayan, so napaka-essential po nung radyo sa ating panahon ngayon dahilan sa sunod-sunod na disaster po ang dumarating. At maikwento ko lang din po sa inyo, doon po sa isang disaster relief operation na ginawa namin, ay nagtayo po kami ng isang repeater. Ayan. At nung nagtayo po kami ng repeater, nung sumabog po yung Taal, ang repeater po ay nasa Tagaytay. Ayan. At meron din po sa Lipa. Tapos ang naaabot po niya ay hanggang Sariaya, Candelaria, Bawan, Tuwi, at Dasma at Silang. Ayan. So kung mapapansin po ninyo, Cavite, Batangas, Laguna. So Calabarzon, halos po ay nagkaroon po tayo ng radio communication dyan at napaka-essential nung pagkakakabit nung radyo na yun during that time. At ganun din naman, nung nandun sa Yolanda, nabasa ko dun sa isang article ay talagang yun yung bumuhay sa kanila kung ano yung mga nangyayari doon sa sawag nga ng ground zero. Ayan, babato nila dahil sa meron silang radio communication. Kaya akala po ng iba yung radyo ay lipas na. Yung tawag nila dati dyan ay two-way radio. Pero napaka-essential po ng two-way radio. That's why ito pong try to contact, ang adhikain po nito ay tulungan po kayo, Tri-Nation, kung paano po tayo magkakaroon ng radyo, saan po natin gagamitin, at paano natin ito gagamitin, paano natin ito i-maintain. Ayan. So yan po yung ating mga pinag-uusapan dito. At the same time, pag medyo in-depth na po tayo, kamukha po ng ginawa ni Sir James kanina, ayan. So pwede na kayong mag-try na maggawa ng sarili ninyong mga antennas. Ayan. So yan po yung isa sa mga adhikain ng try to contact. Ang tulungan po kayo kung paano po tayo gagamit ng radio. At going on po, make rehearsal of escape plan. Ayan, pwede po kayong mag-rehearse dyan sa bahay ninyo. Kung ano po ba yung exit ninyo, syempre dapat yung bahay nyo may fire exit. Ayan, saan kayo magkikita-kita. Ayan, kung halimbawa biglang nasa lumindol, nasa trabaho si mama, nasa trabaho si papa, ikaw naman ay nasa bahay na anak, saan po kayo magkikita-kita? Ayan, dapat meron kayong rehearsal ng mga ganyan. At ganoon din po, plan to help others. Syempre, yung ating mga kamag-anak, tutulungan din naman natin. Lalo na kung kasambahay natin, kung meron tayong matanda sa bahay, syempre, priority po natin sila kung paano natin sila masisecure na hindi po maapektuhan ng mga disaster na yan. Ayan, kung kailangan nating ilikas, yung mga ganyan. Ayan. Tapos, during disaster po, ayan, act quickly. Sabi nga, ayan. So, ano ba yung dapat nating gawin? So, kung halimbawa po ay may sunog, syempre, kailangan nating umalis kagad ng bahay. Kung sabi nga doon floor by floor by floor, kailangan makita natin kung nasaan ba yung sunog. Para makalabas po tayo doon sa mga fire exit. At dapat alam po natin yung mga fire exit kung tayo ay nakatira sa mga buildings. Ayan. Ganun din naman, pagka earthquake, sabi dito get under sturdy furniture or next to an inside wall. Ayan. So kung bungalow type po kayo, pwede po kayong magtago sa ilalim. Yan. Pero kung halimbawa nasa pinto na kayo at bungalow type, pwede na kayong tumakbo sa labas. Yun. Depende po yan sa mga kung anong debris yung mahuhulog sa inyo. Pero sabi doon pag lumindol, always duck. Tapos hanap po kayo ng cover. Ayan. Tapos sabi naman po dito, paano kung tsunami? Ayan. Wala naman tsunami dito sa Tagaytay. Meron dito tsunami ng Bulalo. Ayan. So masarap po yung bulalo dito. Ayan. Kung tsunami naman, sabi dito ay if the water suddenly rushes away from the shore, move quickly to the higher ground. So syempre, usually kapag higher ground, yan yung mga bulubundukin. So kailangan yung lumikas dun sa pinakamataas na lugar na hindi maaabot ng tubig. At i-expect nyo po na lalaki yung tsunami na yun o maaabutan yung mga lowland o yung hanggang dun, sabi nga sa may labi nung pataas na yan. Ayan. So, tornado and hurricane, ayan, shelter without delay, ayan. Tapos, syempre, yung flooding tayo, maraming flooding. Dito nga, umihilang yung aso, sabi nga, bumabaha na sa Metro Manila. Ayan. So, sabi doon, stay out of flooded buildings. Avoid driving through water. Ayan. Flood can contain sewage and conceal danger, including debris, open manholes, and down power lines. So, kapag baha, iwasan po natin yung maglalakad tayo at tatawid dun sa kabila kung hindi natin kabisado o kabisado man natin kasi napakalaki pong danger ng mga bagay na yan. Ayan. If the authorities order evacuation, kailangan po nating mag-evacuate. At alam niyo po ba na yung iba kasi kapag natataranta, hindi nila alam kung anong gagawin nila. Usually, ang ginagawa nila ay naghihintay sila kung ano yung gagawin. Pero actually, kapag may disaster, dapat po takbo kagad, alis kagad. Sabi doon, pag sinabi ng authority, evacuate, we have to evacuate. Ayan. Tapos sabi doon, if the authorities direct residents to remain at home, or shelter in place. Ayan. Pag sinabi namang sa bahay ka lang, sa bahay lang ho tayo, hindi tayo lalabas. Ano? Lalo na pagka bumabagyo at secure naman yung ating bahay, doon lang po tayo. Huwag tayong lumalabas kasi pag lumabas ka at malakas yung hangin, baka mamaya yung bubong ng kapitbahay mo lumipad sa'yo. Ayan. So, kailangan ingat-ingat po tayo pagka ganyan. Tapos, syempre, you have to listen to local TV or radio news. Ayan, para ma-update po tayo kung ano po yung nangyayari na sa labas. Kaya nga po, may mga radyo. At alam niyo po ba sa mga radyo, ay may mga station po dyan yung ating mga emergency. So, pwede kayong mag-tune in. Ano? Ayan. At ganoon naman po, ayan. So, kailangan po natin ng mga pagkain o supplies. Sabi po dito, ay blanket, complete change of warm clothes, and sturdy shoes. Ayan. Tapos, kailangan din po natin ng flashlight, radio, of course, kailangan yung radyo natin, battery operated, at yung flashlight natin, naka-charge o bago yung baterya, at syempre may spare na battery. Tapos, sabi rin dito, meron tayong first aid kit at whistle to signal help. Ayan. So, isa po yan. Ano. Tapos, yung paborito ko, ito po yung paborito kong essential. Kapag ka may disaster, ito talaga yung kailangan eh. Food. Ayan. So, dapat merong eating utensil, can opener, pocket tool set, and waterproof patches. Ayan. So, para makaluto tayo, syempre. O kaya naman, yung mga dilata natin, may pambukas tayo. Although may mga easy open na, diba? Syempre, kailangan natin ng eating utensil. Tapos, dust mask, waterproof tape, and plastic sheeting for shelter. At of course, syempre, para hindi tayo bad breath, magbaon din tayo ng toothbrush, soap, towels, and toilet and paper. Yan. Kung meron naman po kayong mga anak, sabi dyan ay supplies and special needs item para dun sa mga senior. Ganun din po naman ang waterproof container that need medication, copies of prescription, and other important documents. So ilalagay nyo po dun sa loob. Ano? Ayan, usually meron pong mga ziplock at may mga plastic din naman na malalaki. Pwede nyo siyang i-wrap dyan. Ayan, list of emergency contact and meeting place and local map. Ayan. Tapos yung ating mga credit card, kung meron po kayong credit card at saka cash, secure po natin yan. Extra set of house keys and car keys. Tapos paper, pencil, books and games for children. At syempre, Bible. Ayan, para naman makapagbasa po tayo ng salita ng Diyos. Ayan. Ano naman po yung gagawin kapag after disaster? Syempre, stay with friends. Sabi niya, impossible rather than a camp. So kung may mga kaibigan kayo pagkatapos ng disaster, pwede po tayong lumipat doon sa mga kaibigan natin kung kinakailangan lang naman. Ayan, sabi diyan. Tapos keep your living space sanitary. Ayun. Use personal protective equipment when cleaning debris. Ayan. So noong nakaraan, naglinis po tayo. Nilinis po natin yung mga kotse natin tsaka ilang debris sa labas. Nag-pressure washer lang tayo. Meron po tayong konting PPE. Ano? Ayan. Tapos sabi rito ay keep your daily routine as normal as possible. Ayan. Tapos acknowledge that disaster causes loss. Of course, kapag may namatayan po tayo, ayan, i-expect natin na may mamamatay nga. Ano. Ayan, recognize and address emotional injuries. Ayan. So doon po sa disaster dati talagang nakita namin kung paano umiyak yung mga tao doon. Kaya kailangan po ay meron tayong encouragement to each other. Ayan. So kung gusto niyo pa pong malaman yung ibang mga bagay-bagay, yun po muli ay sa jw.org. Punta po kayo ng magazine sa may Awake at 2017 number 5 po siya. Ayan. So yan lang po ano. At hopefully marami po kayo natutunan sa ating Try to Contact this Saturday. Medyo mahaba-haba po ng konti pero yun nga. So konting shoutout lang po tayo kay Sir Ronel Torona at sa Rotel Tools and CNC Builders. Ayan, hello po. Ganun din po naman sa Bosch Philippines Power Tools. So nandyan si Sir William Go, si Sir Golden, nandyan si Ma'am, sino ba yun? Luisa, si Ma'am M, hello po sa inyo. Si Sakabuanet, si Sunny, si June. Nandyan. The rest of the gang. Ayan. Hello po sa inyong lahat. At syempre, maraming salamat po sa inyo, Tri Nation. Ano? Ayan. At muli po ay sa susunod na mga episode, ano? Ayan, pag-usapan po natin muli yung mga, kung ano yung mga bagay na essential po sa radio. Ayan. At syempre, kay Direct JM, kay Sir Ralph, ayan. Thank you very much po. Kay Sir El Presidente, yan, Sir Julius, kay Sir Rome, thank you very much po sa inyo. At syempre, banggitin din natin si Sir CQC, thank you very much po again. Tsaka Sir RDY, salamat po sa inyo. Si Sir Alpa Robio at si Sir Alpa Lima, namimiss ko na. Ayan, so sana next week o sa susunod na mga episode, makasama natin sila. No? Ayan, so dyan lang po muna at medyo gahol na ho tayo sa oras, ano? Yung mga sponsor po natin, yung ating mga partners, yan, Happy Giving Company, Bon Happy Tea, Pau de Oro, Route Consulting, Tagaytay Guide, RJ Brom Consulting, ATI Calabarzon, JRM Consulting, at saka yung HAS. Ganon din po naman yung Life Extension. Huwag niyong kalimutan, lalo na ngayong COVID. Life Extension po, yung vitamin D3. Ayan, kontakin nyo lang po kami dito sa Try to Contact or yung Try PH Media. Ganon din po yung LMP Auto Care, SafeTech, The Purple Wiz, at yung RDY Marine Electronics, at yung paborito ko pong kumpanya, ang La Homa Funeral Homes. Ayan. So again po, thank you very much, Tri Nation, sa aking misis, si BB10, at saka si Kapatang Elena. Thank you very much po sa inyong lahat. Sa aking mga pamilya, thank you so much po. At dyan na naman po nagtatapos ang ating isang episode ng Try to Contact. At ito po ang inyong lingkod, si BB1, over and out.
Break, any station come in.
Yung breaker po, go ahead. 11, call sign, sir.
Thank you, sir. This is 4H1 EMQ po. This is EMQ from Amadeo Station, over.
Roger that, acknowledge. This is Alpha Lima, Cavite Station on the mobile.
Thank you, sir. Sir, can you give me update lang sa location mo, weather, and working condition mo?
Roger that, acknowledge. So now, ako po ay on mobile, stationary mobile here in Cavite City Public Market. And then, sa ngayon, sobrang init po ng ating weather condition ngayon dito. Napakataas ng humidity level. And working condition ko po is Motorola GM300 with power output of 45 watts. And then, super gainer antenna, over.